Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to talk about what to do when it feels like things are going wrong, when it feels like the outcome that you want just isn't happening, when it feels like everything is against you, everything is going in the wrong direction, and it's all the complete opposite of what you want it to be. Well, when this happens, the first thing to do is to come back to yourself. Remember, everything out there is a projection coming from you. So if you don't like what you see out there, never get into a fight with what you see or try to rearrange the things out there. You need to come back within you to where the settings are, because that is what is causing the external world to be the way it is. So that's the first thing. Return to your center. Forget the world out there for now. Come back to yourself. Let the outside world be what it is, and just let yourself notice what is going on inside you, how you feel about everything, what your desires are, what you feel is getting in the way of your desires. Don't judge it. Don't censor yourself in any way. Don't try to change it just yet. Don't start telling yourself that you shouldn't be thinking like this. For now, just sit and notice what is alive in you. Then, once you have sat and noticed and observed all this for a while, you can start to play with it. You can start to challenge it. You can start asking yourself, why do I think that? What do I think is stopping me from having what I want? What do I think is causing things to be the way they are? What am I making myself dependent on? What am I seeing as the source of my well-being? What am I giving my power away to? And then, once you've done this, start asking yourself, what would I like to choose instead of this? If I had a magic wand and could give myself absolutely anything, what would I give myself? Where would I place myself? Let yourself explore. Let your mind wander. Let yourself think about all the wonderful possibilities and experiences you would choose to give yourself if you really could place yourself anywhere you wanted, in whatever situation you desire. Then after this, take it a step further by asking yourself, what if this outcome that I desire really could happen? What if the source that is creating everything really does want to give me all this? What if it's actually all already available? And the only reason it hasn't appeared yet is because I haven't said yes to it and allowed it in. Allow yourself to really go there. Really let yourself contemplate the possibility that you really could find yourself ending up in this lovely outcome. That the source really could create this for you and bring it to you. Let yourself imagine how wonderful that would be. Allow yourself to consider that you really might get to experience this, that there is a chance that this really could happen. And what you'll find, or at least what I've found in my own life, is that taking this really kind of light approach by asking these what if questions is so much more effective than trying to make myself believe that something is going to happen 100% without having any doubts and being completely single-minded and unwavering. For me personally, I find that is just so unrealistic. I'm human. Physical things affect me. I see something bad happening and it upsets me. It would be an impossible task for me to be 100% convinced that I always get to have what I want 100% of the time. But by taking this approach, by just allowing my mind to entertain the possibility that the outcome that I want could happen, my human self doesn't fight back at the idea. It might be a 1 in a million chance that it might happen according to my human mind, but the possibility is always there. And so my human logic doesn't fight back in the way that it would if I try to assume this thing is definitely going to happen without a shadow of a doubt. Which means that my human mind doesn't stop me from exploring that possibility, because I'm not trying to convince it that it is definitely going to happen. And so it lets me explore it. It lets my mind go there to the possibility of this happening. And in my experience, just that little glimmer of allowing yourself to go there, it's enough to set things in motion and to make the things you want materialize, despite the doubts and fears and the limited thinking of your human mind. So this is the way to do it. This is how to go from feeling that everything is wrong to bring yourself back to a feeling of, you know what? Maybe things could go well after all. And if you then keep that lovely feeling within you and you now bring your focus back to the physical world and to the current reality, to what is going on around you, now you're looking at everything with fresh eyes. You'll notice that everything feels different, even though it all still looks exactly the same. There's that little glimmer of possibility now in the background. And you know it's there, you can feel it, you can sense it. You're not so bothered if the things around you don't necessarily look that great. Because in your mind's eye, you've still got that feeling that things might be about to go in a much lovelier direction. And the more you let yourself dwell in that state and live from that state, the more you'll find that the world around you will start to reshape itself. And things will start to fall into place in ways that will completely surprise you. Because, again, remember that everything out there is forming and shaping itself based on what you are assuming on the inside. And if you're allowing yourself to explore lovely possibilities on the inside, then the external world will have no choice but to conform and reflect that. Ultimately, it really is this simple. We tend to make all of this ever so complicated, but it really is just a case of getting to know yourself, becoming aware of what is alive in you, and learning to very gently shift yourself away from what you don't want and towards what you do want. And it's always a case of coming back to yourself. That is always the place you need to go and adjust things. Obviously, the trigger for knowing that you want to change something will usually come from something on the outside, something physical, something external. But once you've noticed that, you need to go within yourself to change it. Because that thing or event or situation on the outside is just a projection. In itself, it can't be changed because it can only ever appear as whatever you have the setting set to within you. But if you go to that setting on the inside, then you can adjust it to whatever you'd like it to be. And by doing that, you will cause the thing on the outside to change. And the thing with this, to make it easy for yourself, you need to learn to let yourself assume things that feel believable, that feel easy to assume. If you're internally going, I must make myself believe this thing that I really don't believe it's ever going to happen, but that's what I want, so that's what I'm going to make myself believe. I mean, it's your life, so if you think that works for you, go for it. But when I tried it, I'm telling you, all I did was create a big mess in my life. Whereas when I learned to assume things like, things are going to work out one way or another. It may happen this way, or it may happen another way, but somehow or other, things will fall into place. That, to me, was a lot more believable and a lot easier for my human mind to accept. And it meant that I didn't get thrown if one way didn't work out, because I knew that it meant that it was going to work out some other way. Instead of falling into that downward spiral of, oh no, it's not working, I must be doing something wrong, which I see a lot of people doing. If you're very rigid, if you're insisting that the outcome must look exactly like the way you think it needs to look, and if it looks any different and it doesn't work out in the way you want it to, then it means you've done something wrong. Well, you're going to make things very difficult for yourself if you do that. But if you're open to things looking different to how you thought they needed to look, then you allow the perfection coming from the higher self to orchestrate things for you and bring you exactly what you truly desire. Now, some people take this to mean, when I say that I'm saying that you might have to put up with getting something less than what you really want. But that's not what I'm saying. If what you get is something less than what you want, then you haven't reached the end yet. Simple as that. If what you got doesn't feel like it's what you want, then say an internal, no thank you, this isn't what I want, and keep moving forwards until you get what you do want. What I'm talking about here isn't settling for something inferior. What I'm saying is that it may be that the thing that ends up fulfilling your desire won't look the way you thought it would look. But it is what you really want, and you can sense that it is what you really want. To the point that if I asked you whether you want to keep this thing or say no to it and get the thing you thought you wanted, you would say, no way, this is what I want. There's no way I would go back to what I thought I wanted. So that's the feeling. That's what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about settling for something less than what you really desire. I am talking about the fact that your human mind is very limited and it can't see the full extent of what is available to it. And so when you're making choices, you are choosing something that is just the closest symbol that you are aware of. But it isn't always necessarily the actual thing you desire, because you just don't have the vision at this point to see the outcome that is what you really desire. So this is the thing to understand. It's all coming from you. Everything out there, it's simply a reflection of what is alive in you. And when you learn to get a handle on that, and you learn to gently adjust what is going on within you and shift your assumptions to what you do want as opposed to what you don't want, then life just becomes this amazingly wonderful experience. Simply because anytime it isn't, you can just go within and refine again and again, as many times as you need to, always making it more and more lovely and more of what you want it to be. And it can be just a case of reminding yourself that you have this infinite power that is always on your side, that is always right there with you, and is always orchestrating things in your favor every single minute of the day. If you simply remind yourself of this whenever you feel that things are going wrong, it's like you're internally aligning yourself with that infinite power again. And you will automatically find yourself coming back onto a path that feels right and feels good and feels like it's where you want to be, and that things are going well, and that everything is unfolding perfectly. But it all starts on the inside, always. So get into the habit of always going within to check whether you're on the right track or not, because that's where it all starts. That's where everything is emanating from. So get used to checking within you whether it feels like you're on the right path. Don't base it on the things outside of you, because they're just the result. They're just the reflection of what is going on within you. And if you know that within you, you're choosing something lovely, then the external world will conform. It has to, because that's how this works. But you need to understand that you are the cause. So you always need to bring it back to becoming aware of what you are choosing within you and adjusting that if necessary, because that's what is always making the physical world be what it is. So learn to do this. Learn to always go to the source within when there's something that you want to change out there. Never feel like you're at the mercy of anything out there. The things out there are just a reflection. They have no power, no effect in themselves. They are just the result of what you are choosing within you. So anytime you find that you're not liking what you're creating, go to the place that it's all coming from and gently shift things there. And immediately you'll set everything right and you'll make things start going the way you want them to again. Okay, and with that, I think I'm going to stop here for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because that really does help me to keep doing more of this and to keep creating more videos. As usual, if you have questions, you can ask them here in the comments, or you can come and find me on Facebook or through my website. Thanks again for all your support. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.